Hey everybody, KB5MIQ Big Boy. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Christmas weekend. Kind of a subject I'm going to talk about tonight about some new ham tips. But first, I want to remind everybody, Cowtown Ham Fest. There'll be a slide at the end of this video talking about it. It's January 19th and 20th, South Fort Worth area of Forest Hill Road, I believe. Check it out. I went to it last year. It's a pretty nice ham fest. I'm going to make every effort to attend on Saturday this year. I hope I'm able to get out there, but information will be on it there at the end of this video. Old ham radio cats roaming around here somewhere. But anyway, guys, see a lot of new guys trying to decide which way to go in the radio. They from everywhere from what radio to buy to what mode to operate in, and a lot of guys that are strictly FT8 operators versus, getting on single sideband voice and so on and so forth. My suggestion is try out several different modes. If whether you have to go visit a friend that's got the stuff set up, or if you got the money to invest in the mode of it. That way, you get a little exposure to all of it. I'm not going to tell you to pick one over the other. There's pro and con to all of them. That's why we got so much in this hobby that we have available for us to use. Well, come on, get up here. Well, come on. What is it? But, here's some of the ideas I talked about on social media about the different hobby, different aspects. It's mainly a voice versus digital. A lot of your diehard FT8 guys either don't want to talk on the radio, which that's understandable. Y'all see some earlier videos talking about my experience in voice radio. I've been involved in several different aspects of it, from CBs to public service to military, tactical communications, HF military, and ham radio. And I've always kind of narrowed it operators down in three groups. You have one group of good operators that get their message across clear, concise, and know how to operate their equipment correctly. Then you got the group of people that should never be allowed near a radio. And then you got the group of people that just not going to get on the radio. And the ones that should never be allowed to get on the radio are either the ones that don't operate their equipment correctly, go way out of the way trying to get a message across. We've all heard that. So I'm not even going down that avenue on stuff like that. But having some exposure with voice and the capability to voice radio, I think is good at ham radio. I've been doing some FT8 along here. I've made probably 100, 150 FT8 contacts since I've been fooling with it. And I'll admit it's interesting. It's interesting. Will it ever replace voice for me? No, it won't. But here's some of the complaints I've heard about voice, especially single sideband. And a lot of these guys got some valid complaints about it. Where you get into an issue with single sideband contacts is a lot of these contacts now are 5973, and that's it. And especially on a contest weekend, well, get up here, knothead. Especially on a contest weekend, that's what you get into. Now, I'll be the first to admit I'm guilty of that too. I like to have a rag chew, but if I hear a country I haven't got, and there's a pilot working on them, and that's about all you're gonna get out of the guy, especially if I've already checked his call on QRZ and know he'll QSL card, I'll do the same type of contact just to get the contact if it's a rare country or a country I don't have. I prefer to talk. One of my best QSOs on HF I ever had in my life was after I got licensed. Talked to a guy in San Felice, Italy for almost an hour one day. We're just telling each other about our towns we lived in and just having a very good rag chew. There's old ham radio cat. Aaron, number one fan. Hopefully my number one fan gets to come check the shack out before he goes back to school too. Uh, that's a good conversation when you can have a DX contact and have a rag chew with it for a few minutes, other than just a simple 5973. All right. But when you look at FT8, that's really all FT8 is a signal report received 73. I'm not knocking it. I've done it. I hate to admit it, I've got a QSL card on the wall for an FT8 contact. It was a country of Ecuador. I'm still trying to do a clean sweep of every country from Mexico to Argentina. I think there's 20 of them on the list. I've got 17 of them now, and that was the first time I'd ever heard Ecuador since I've been a ham, and it was an FT8 contact. And the guy did QSL cards, so, I got the card for it. The thing I'm trying to get with you guys is to think about what you want to do and get some more experience and don't get locked into one thing. That's all I'm trying to say. You get on there, especially if you get locked into a talkie and local repeaters, more than likely when it comes time to renew your license, you're probably going to be bored with it. There's too much stuff we have in this hobby that you have access to not to at least give as much of it as you can a chance that you could afford to use. And you don't have to buy all the equipment. If you get in a ham club, there's going to be hams that'll be willing to let you come by and check something out like slow scan TV. I think WW5H is still in a WW5AH is big in slow scan TV. And if I ever decide I'm going to do it, I'm going to go by and let Adam show it to me. He's the one first showed me FT8 for the first time. You can check this stuff out without having to invest a lot of money in it. But try it. Don't let what you read on social media turn you off one way or the other on trying a different mode. And pick something you like, something you can afford, and enjoy the hobby. Now, I know I'm going to sound like a broken record on my next subject, but this is something I've always been very passionate about. And if there's any one thing I can do in this hobby that will help prolong it, help keep it going, or encourage it, is QSL cards. Now, a lot of y'all are saying, oh man, here he goes, talking about QSL cards again. You can print off a logbook of the world. Yeah, that's kind of generic. QSL confirmation logbook of the world. This is a personal thing. This was a Hungary contact I made on that infed half wave I borrowed off of a Cody several months ago. First time I'd ever worked, the second time I've worked Hungary, the first time I've ever got a card back. Here's Tuvalu Island. This was a Tango 2 Charlie D Expedition that I got their card back on. That's a fun part of the hobby to me. It makes it more personal. It's just a good way to personalize the hobby. And like I've said before, when you got somebody that comes in your shack for the first time, it's going to be like that I Love Me wall in my living room with my military shadow box and retirement plaques and stuff like that. I ain't had anybody come in this house I think's ever give that a second look. But when guys come in here in this shack and look at these QSL cards, they notice it. And I've had people ask me questions about the hobby strictly from looking at QSL cards. Just something to think about. I don't send a QSL card on every contact anymore. I'm fixing to send some out this week. If our 10-meter group works a tech, especially a new tech, just now getting on HF, every one of us sends him a card. I try to send techs cards every time I work one on our group. That's why we stay in the tech portion of 10 meters. Not that we're all general class or higher, and it's not that we just have to stay there. We could get on 2-meter sideband, simplex. We just want to talk amongst ourselves. But we enjoy people checking in with us, especially new techs. So that's why we stay where we're at. So encourage you to do anything. Send some cards out. You don't have to send one out at every contact. You FT8 guys that are doing 1,000 contacts a month, I know y'all don't want to send a card out for every one of them. But if you don't work a new country and they'll send a card, exchange a card, display it on your wall. It's just a good way to promote the hobby and keep people interested in what we got going here. Well, guys, I appreciate everybody subscribed to the channel. We're sitting at 1237 right now. We're probably gonna do another giveaway, something about 1,300 subscribers. Remember, Main Trading Company in Paris, Texas. They've just closed out the end of the year sales up there, mystery boxes and everything else under the sun. And I think 2024 is going to be bigger and better for them next year. It's on behalf of myself, the 10-meter Hammerheads group, and old Ham Radio Cat. We want to wish all y'all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. This is KB5 MIQ Big Boy 73.